to them boys that settle them benches, boy. I was in the game on 4 inches. Go put me in the game on 4 inches. Put me in the game.
Hello, welcome back to SML 4th and Inches. I am Primetime 000, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the four-time
Four-time
champion, four-time champion, QP. Let's just get this out of the way now. I gotta address the elephant in the room. I have a really big pimple on my face, and it's bothering me. And I tried popping it, and it won't pop. So
it it's part of puberty, buddy, and we all go through it. Some a little bit later than others. You still look great though.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, we do have a show to talk about. It's a playoff edition. The playoffs are back. I'm pretty fired up about it. You look like you're having a good, jolly old time over there.
I can't wait.
Let's just get into our top 5, if you will. And we call this segment 4th and 5. Pretty much, we're going to give a list on something. Do you know what this list is, Q?
I believe I do. I believe that once you sent it over to me, I can't lie, I did get a little bit turned on. The topic, I believe, let me just make sure, just to clarify, this is the top 5 who we least want to win the Super Bowl this cycle or this season. Is that correct?
Yeah, preferably who are in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, of course.
So sorry, Tiny, you're not on this list.
Yeah.
No particular order, right? We're just kind of listing names off.
You name one, I'll name one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to start with my elephant in the room, Stavo. I don't want Stavo to win. It's just something. He's in my division. He's beat me twice this season. I'm salty. I'm a graham cracker, you could say, probably is what you would call me, for whatever reason. And I just don't want him to win. I'll just say it.
Yeah, that was going to be the first target for me as well. It's no sign. That's what happens when you're the number 1 seed, Stavo. You come into our league and you mark your spot and you say, hey, I'm the top dog in the AFC amongst a bunch of dogs. That's a great one. I don't blame you. He's definitely on my list as well. Let me give you one of mine.
Okay.
I had a recent DM with him. We had a conversation. That's between me and him. I'm going to go with Larry. I'm going to say Larry.
Okay.
I respect Larry. Larry is a good ball player. He knows how to play the game. His defense is top notch. He's a top 5 defender. Offenses actually can get clicking when you least expect it. Very good runner. I'm going to have to pick Larry. Larry, just going back to the Super Bowl one, that would already make it pretty impressive. It's hard to do that in general. Mm-hmm. But then going there, not facing a powerhouse like Dump and getting the job done, I don't know if I want to see that yet. I don't think I'm ready to see Larry be crowned yet.
Yeah, me either.
He's got to go through the fire a little bit longer.
Me either. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, looking at the list, by the way, of playoff guys, there's not many actually who I would really care that much if they went. Like, look, I'm looking through this right now. But, and I honestly, I feel bad even saying it, but Meats. Meats deserves probably a Somebody at this point, and he has become more humble and he's become a better man in the last 3 or 4 years now that he works a blue collar job. Won't get into how, but I just know the graphics and the unrelenting cockiness that would come from Meats if he won a Somebody. Nearly got one. He played you pretty close. I think you had the game in control, but he was willing to kind of power the dark arts and say the forbidden words in order to get the victory, I think. And I just don't want to see that happen. I've seen him when he drafts an X Factor player.
Exactly. We see how he was when he was 8-0. Let's just date it back to this season.
Yeah, that was bad.
When he was 8-0, it was a different guy. I saw him every single day.
He was
happy, asking how everybody's doing. What I will say, I got a lot of DMs when he played me in the Super Bowl saying, please do not let this man win.
Yeah.
That put a little extra pressure on me. I'm going to say that made me play a little bit worse.
It sucks.
Yeah, so I like Meats. I'm going to have to stay in my own division, own conference. It's not who you expect. I actually don't want to see Filthy win one. And let me tell you why. Filthy's a good man. Great man, actually, I will say. I respect him. Been playing a lot of Madden with him for about a decade. A lot of guys love him. Filthy's one of those guys that fits in, blends in, stands in, good man. The only thing is he's in the AFC West. If another AFC West guy gets a Super Bowl, wine's almost spilling. Another AFC West guy gets a Super Bowl, then I don't look as good. And
Yeah.
you know me, I like to always look good, so we'll
Yeah.
keep Filthy out.
Yeah, for me, I guess the number 5 for me, and he's already got one, is Dan. Oh wait, it's people who aren't in the playoffs. I'm sorry about that. Um, dude, I'm just looking at this list, and I don't even know if I can come up with a number 5. Can I say somebody who's already won one?
I was gonna say Doink is on my list.
Doink was on my
Doink
was on my list. Honestly, Doink, I just don't want to see you win one.
We'll team up for that one.
I just don't want to see it happen. He's humble. He was humble in victory when he won, and
he is.
And that's, I don't know. I just don't want to see him win one of the guys who are left.
Same exact reason, actually. Doink's humble in the win and humble in a loss. He actually showed up to that post-game press conference when he did lose the Super Bowl. Something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people don't always show up. It's not easy to do.
He did it.
And I do it. I've been there a lot of times, as you know. So on the losing end, obviously, is what I mean. So, same reason as you. Doink's a good man. I don't want to see him win just simply because he already has one.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Let's go around the SML here.
Let's do that.
And this is kind of news around the SML. I really didn't have a whole lot of news, so I just kind of threw one down because I kind of wanted to take a little victory lap. And you could just tell me if I'm a jerk for this, but Dan's out of the playoffs, and I had to make it a topic because he was parading on I have screenshots, and he was saying like, my life is complete. This is the best day of my life. Like, Prime's out. This brings me so much joy. Like, these are all quotes. So it's like, that feels good to see Dan not make it.
Yeah. He, I believe when I missed as well, he sent his little memes. It was not as bad as when you missed it, obviously.
It was bad.
You guys have a little deeper rivalry. I do admit that. But he sent, his little memes, sorry, little buddy, things like that when I was sitting on the couch. But if you can just take a deep breath, a deep whiff, smells like Dan is missing the playoffs, and he's going to be watching us, baby.
Oh, yeah.
It smells like Dan is missing us, and he's watching.
And I know Dan stinks. I'm not convinced he's fully washed all the time. The other thing that makes it a little bit sweeter is I think he played every game. I don't think he gave a forced loss.
Did he really?
I think he played every game.
I thought that, I was actually afraid that was going to be what was thrown out, that he didn't play, he was on vacation. I think you're actually right. He took his PlayStation on vacation.
And lost to Gilbert.
He did. And so you're right. That makes it actually that much. Cheers to that.
I hit you with my pimple.
Boop. Oh, there you go. I think I got some on here.
So that felt good, Dan. And I know you're probably not watching this, but it's somebody tag him. Let's move on. And I'm going to flash this up on the screen for a while here because I forgot to upload something. So now I have to do some creative, how do I say this? Creative editing on the show. And pretty much on our show, we do cards, like Madden Ultimate Team cards. And this show, we're going to unveil one card for a guy who is in the playoffs already. He's made the playoffs. And he has a chance to be a Cinderella story, if you will. I don't think anyone's really picking him to win, but his name is Gutta. Q, should I roll into this card, or do you want to say anything or narrate this card, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, I'll let you narrate it, and then I'll just give my little bit of information that I would like about Gutta afterwards. I'll let you hype him up a little bit better than I would.
Here we go. Gutta, 76 overall. Ability, nasty streak. And I'll just say it. I mean, he's nasty. I mean, he's nasty. Nasty. I don't trust him around my wife. I don't know why. And I feel like he's the type to be like, to say some things in private in a car ride home, like that would make me frustrated and maybe not make me like Gutta, but I trust him in a way. Anyway, back to his card. 75 passing, 79 rushing, team building low, 71. Honestly, probably should have been lower because I literally had to make an Excel spreadsheet to show him how to get back in cap space earlier this cycle. Overall, a pretty solid card for Gutta.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good card. I think that when this was made, he was doing a little bit worse at the time.
He could actually be higher if now.
Could be maybe his offense. Maybe his offense. His team building definitely is low. His team building deserves to be low. His passing is average right now. I think he's a little bit better passer than a lot of people maybe give him credit for. He's prone to throw interceptions, but if you play him and he's in a groove, it's a different gutter. The guy can run the ball, but when he's passing the ball, he's that much more dangerous. It's very hard to stop him. His ability, nasty streak, let me tell you, his nose, it finds crevices it shouldn't find.
Oh.
And we'll just have to leave it at that. Leave a little stank on it, if you know what I'm saying.
See,
we'll leave it at that.
That's what I'm saying. He's willing to do things I'm not. Now, 79 rushing. Could be in the 80s, I would say. Passing, I will say this about Gutta when I play him, and I watched it. You guys played today. Like, he will. I don't know if he just stares down and read the whole time, or if he's just that patient. But he'll throw a pass way across the field. He's like patient in the pocket sometimes, and I think that's something to be said. I'd give him a 78 or 79 in passing. Probably a 78 overall. 76 feels a little low. But again, we did these ratings quite a while ago. Normal dev, I would stick with that. Again, solid card. There's never 99 overall guy that when we did these ratings, so it's not like NBA 2K ratings, if you will.
Yeah. His user is maybe a little bit better as well. It's one of those things. Maybe again, he knows my game so well. So I'm talking possibly from a biased standpoint. The guy knows my game. We actually used the same exact playbook, believe it or not. Based off my creation. He didn't create it. I created it.
Wow.
Just so everybody knows. So he knows my game. He knows my plays. I think that his user defense, it's a little bit better than people give it credit for, but that's about I got.
I think he's got a winning record against me this cycle. Like I'm 1-2 against him, I think.
He's beaten a few good players and he's lost to some worse ones.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. One thing I like in the SML, as most people know, is narratives. Narratives are a big deal in the league. Problem is, people will say narratives aren't true, and usually maybe the truth is stretched a little bit, but oftentimes there is a seed of truth in them. Narrative of the week, and I keep seeing it in chat lately. Paulie's brought it up, Dan's brought it up, some others have brought it up. It's summertime in the SML, and they say summertime rings equal Mickey Mouse rings. What's your thoughts?
Well, as a final season Simbardi winner myself, against Noel, I believe it was, in the AFC, I count every single ring just as important as the last one. And let me just say why. Now, granted, some guys may be on vacation, but typically the top dogs, the most elite of the elite, are not all on vacation in the last season. Maybe one guy is, maybe none, maybe just 3 guys in the league itself, but they don't have to be top dogs. Those guys go on vacation. Some guys give out force wins. Obviously, jobs get busy, but a lot of the guys that are giving out force wins, typically, they're not perennial playoff players. They're not perennial contenders. They're not guys that really shake the league up as far as wins and losses go. Also, rosters in the final season are at their strongest.
Yeah.
They're at their strongest. It doesn't matter how you put it. The team that you're lining up for against, most likely 98% of the time, unless you really neglected your team, which not a lot have done, you're going to be playing a better team than you were when you played them in season 1 or season 2. These guys are developed, especially, again, these guys that don't pick or that are picking top 10 a lot more often than not. They're drafting some high overall guys. This cycle, a little bit higher at 77, 78 overall guys that are star developments right out the gate. They can get better. So these last seasons, it only doesn't matter when you're less relevant in the league. When you're relevant, when you're still being talked about, when you're still winning games in June, guess what? People still care, and it still matters.
That's a good point, and I wish I could disagree, but I don't. And here's why. If I play you, even if you were on vacation and took 2 forced losses this season, but you're still in the playoffs, you're not going to play me. It's not like you're just going to load up the game because it's a playoff game in season 6 and be like, oh, well, it's summertime. I'm not going to try that hard. Like, no, you're going to freaking try to win the game. And to be honest, the people who use the summertime excuses are the ones who are out of the playoffs. Like, it's just the reality is, and I hate to throw this example up, and I don't even mean to say this. I wasn't planning on saying it, but I'm going to say it.
Tiny arse.
Tiny. Dan, who wasn't talking about summertime at all until until today when he got eliminated from the playoffs. Wasn't 2 days ago when he was saying that he had a way in the playoffs. The reality is, the SML is highly competitive. There are a lot of guys who literally play this game like 1,000 hours per cycle, and they are at their peak of their game towards the end of a cycle. So it's very hard to win at any point. First season, last season, middle season. I mean, everybody has their highs and lows. Me, for whatever reason, like season 3 or 4, I always kind of hit like a rut. I just kind of lose focus or something. And then towards the last 2 seasons, I usually I can like, okay, like it's time to really get it. And then I try like a little bit harder. But we all have a different clock in our head, and we all have different stages of life. And that's just kind of the reality of it.
Yeah.
That is really, I did have a walk-in question here. One other thing, it's called SML on the spot. It's when a fan submits a question and they ask a question to us, and we're not really prepared. I don't think I sent you this one, but one fan says, Q and Prime, you guys have an opportunity to possibly play each other in the AFC Championship game. How do you think that would go?
Do we have an opportunity to do that? I thought that no matter what, we meet in round 2 if we win. If both of us
are you the 2 seed?
3.
Well, I think it depends on how it shakes out a little bit. If I win and if you win, I think you would get Dump.
Correct. If Dump wins.
If Dump wins,
you get Stavo, I get Dump. And then we would have a chance to meet in the AFC Championship.
Yeah. So
that's correct.
Prime Q.
How would it play out?
That's a good question.
For me, I'll start first. I would say that I think each of us would probably come out a little bit more conservative than usual. We always do in the playoffs, especially when we get closer to the Super Bowl. Neither of us want to throw that interception to the other guy and give their offense that extra possession. So I think we get a little conservative. I'll concede to you on your show. You know, you are the GOAT. You are the commissioner. I will say that I can see it being a close game. I probably make a mistake towards the end, and I have to punt it back to you, and you probably get a game-winning drive.
I'll say this. I don't even want to make a score prediction, but I will say I think you're right, and I think there's something, not necessarily about the game prediction, but about the conservative nature to starting games that you and I have both struggled with this cycle more than ever. And I don't know why that is. Like, I know I have Jonathan Taylor, and because of that, I'm like, I'm going to run it 30 times a game in the playoffs and play ball control. And it's like, dude, if you're averaging 10 yards a clip, do it. But it's like, Q, you're the number 1 passer in the league right now. Like, don't feel the need just to run it because it's the playoffs. Like, just play your game and get in rhythm. And I think we both have lost to guys we shouldn't have lost to because of that. And that's my goal entering the playoffs this season is like, hey, call your best plays, run your best runs, and just play it. Just do the best you can to just play it like a normal game. Maybe in certain situations you have to understand it's the playoffs, but I just hope that neither of us loses because we got stupid. Like my last playoff game against Wine, like I ran it way too much. I refuse to just be. I mark my words. If I lose, I lose, but I am not going to be some conservative wuss because it's 4th and 1 from the 1 yard line and I kick a field goal. I'm not doing that this time around. And I hope you don't either, because I think that's hindered you and me this playoff run.
Yeah. And that's something we spoke about privately as well. After our losses in playoffs, we talked to each other privately about what we did wrong. And we both recognized right away in our own games and watching the other one play is that, hey, you probably went a little conservative when you shouldn't have. And what you said is the exact same way I feel. I am the number 1 passer, top 5 passer typically in the season. So I go in thinking like all these guys are going to expect me to pass it. Now let me run heavy. And then I do. Yeah. And I don't play a game anywhere remotely close to my own game. Yeah. Then I'm out of rhythm trying to pass it. It gets ugly. I lose. And then here I am, complaining and all that good stuff. So yeah, I agree with you. Just got to go out there. We got to play our game and let the chips fall where they may.
I hope I get you in the AFC Championship game. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun one.
It would be good. We rarely ever get to that point where the winner gets to the Super Bowl. And I would like that, especially because I know that we each have confidence in each other. And for the AFC side, if one of us gets to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Hey, political answer there. Were you inspired by the debate to ignore and deflect questions? Yeah. But hey, that's all I got. You got anything else to throw out there before we wrap this up?
Yeah, when I was a primer admin, I was a 6 handicap. That's all I'll leave it at. Maybe you'll get that, maybe you won't.
Hey, do you carry your own bags, though, is the real question,
Carry my own bags, blue collar.
Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but I'm wearing the wrong color shirt. I love you guys. Talk to you later.
Let's close it out.
Playoffs are back. Go Colts and Chargers to an extent. See you.